Hey everyone, just letting you know throughout this video, my camera was kind of acting up a little weird, so there is going to be quite a bit of lag in between. You're going to hear the audio just fine. The audio conversation is just perfect, but the video, just for some reason, my video decided not to keep up with what I was saying. So every now and then you're going to see my lips ain't moving, but the audio's coming through. So just forewarning, there's no way that I can fix it. But there was such a good conversation, I had to keep everything in it. So just letting you know, video ain't gonna match what I'm saying most of the time. Enjoy the conversation. Hey folks, Ryan here with Mr. House Gaming Rants and Reviews, and we've got a rant video for today, and I have a very, very special guest here. We got Maurice Andrews. Maurice, say hi to everybody. That's what I was trying to say.
That's all right, man. We can get the claps in. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me here, man. My name is Maurice Andrews Jr. I just started YouTube recently, so this is kind of a new journey for me. You know, was able to find, well, I guess Mr. Rao found me, so to speak, you know, on the Twitter webs, you know, just talking about some good old board gaming. And, you know, now we're here being able to talk more about board gaming, but I guess more specifically, creating YouTube content around it. You know, we're both, you know, trying to figure this thing out. This has been quite an interesting, at least 3 months for me. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but
It's been just over 2 months-ish. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, you're just as fresh as me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think
go.
we came into the space around the exact same time.
Oh man, there we go. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's been an interesting journey because I think the best part about everything is just meeting people, just kind of like how we're meeting each other and being able to talk with each other about board gaming. Because for me, you know, this was just a way for me to bring more passion to the hobby for me. You know, I was losing passion with my hobbies. I thought maybe it was depression. So, you know, I went to a counselor to talk about it. She was like, Maurice, you're not depressed. You need to build structure around your hobbies. So that's what got me here, you know, creating YouTube videos. Initially was going to do Marvel Champions, you know, with playing, but you know, your boy's still trying to figure out all the technology around it. So I have my camera here that I can use. I got a stand that's out of camera view right now that I'm looking to hook up. I just got to figure out that lighting. You know, it's you know, keep the videos from looking all grainy. And I sleeve all my cards, so you know, there's that reflection off of the card. It's all kind of madness, man. But I got a whole new level of respect for people that's been doing this for years. Because I look at some I look at some of the content creators, I'm like, man, I could do that. And then now that I'm doing it, it's like, oh, they actually they for real about this. So it's been interesting, man. So I don't know if you face some of the same challenges as me, but especially starting off new, it's been weird trying to focus on certain topics. And I think that's been kind of I don't know how to put it. I guess that's been kind of the challenge on keeping content coming out, which is why I kind of wanted to start with Marvel Champions, because it's super easy to get a game to the table.
Right. Yeah. And I can reflect some of the exact same sentiments in here. When I started doing this, I actually was part of a podcast for many years. That's why I already have like the microphone. I use the microphone for the podcasting aspect, and I'm now just using it for the video. But then there was quite a bit of a lull there that I started losing. Like I think I started losing my passion for the podcasting part. I realized it was starting to become a lot of work, and so I needed to take a break. I needed to step away for a while. And after I stepped away for a while, then I really found that niche again, where I said, "Hey, I think I can do the video thing. I really, really like talking about games, just like you. Like I like talking about things, and maybe somebody wants to hear about it. Maybe somebody wants to hear about it.
Right.
I don't know." So I put together a couple. I came up with the idea of rants because I like complaining about things at times. So maybe other people reflect the exact same feelings I'm having. I don't know. So I think my very first one was, I think I was ranting about, it was the Agricola big box thing that
Oh,
that was
buddy.
coming out. And I was like,
Yeah.
that thing's unnecessary. And then I heard some details about it. I'm like, this thing's ridiculous. I'm going to record some thoughts about it. And it launched. Like, I was like, oh gosh, people are listening to this. Oh gosh, people
Right.
are listening. Oh no, people are listening to this. I got to do this. This can't be a one-off thing.
Yeah, man. It's been fun knowing that people are willing to talk about
Mm-hmm.
the topic you're talking about. So if you go to my video where I talk about apps and board games,
Oh,
because
right.
I'm all for it. I love I like the fact that they're not taking over, but it adds another dimension to board gaming, right?
Right.
And then there was this person that dropped a huge comment disagreeing with me. So I was like, oh, okay, here we go. We in it now. Because the first couple of videos I did were Marvel Champions specifically.
Mm.
And then I was like, let me get, maybe not controversial, but talk about something that's kind of a hot topic, and kind of pick a side and argue that
Right.
side. And then to have somebody drop a whole soliloquy on me, I was just like, oh man, here we go. So I started I started reading through the comments, and they were talking about how apps take away from the social aspect of it, or
Mm.
it board games are typically more of a social way to get away from technology, and that if you have apps in a board game, you're still staring at your phone. And when I responded, I tried to be nice about it, because what I
Mm.
didn't want is for things to go left, right? Because it's
Right.
hard to argue with people online. So I was like,
Yes.
well, this person, they were adamant about their point, but they weren't disrespectful. So I'm like, all right, I can match that energy. Let's talk about this. And I gave my retort on you know these with it adding a new dimension, and with it being able to um, be more creative with what we can do with board games, right? Because
Mm.
you see every now and then there's something, a component that comes out that really changes the way that you look at board games. I think that apps is one of those that's still in kind of its infantile state, but it's getting better. Fantasy
Right.
Flight is doing better with it, with Mansions of Madness and Descent, and you see what Lucky Duck is doing with Chronicles of
Right.
Crime, and Portal Games with the detective series. How that has been, it's not where you're staring at your screen, but it's another component that's technically a
Mm-hmm.
part of the game. It's not on the game itself, but it's another part of the game, right? So it's not like the app is dominating the game, because even in Chronicles of Crime, even though you're scanning all these QR codes, the fun of the game is talking with people and coming up with these wacky, it's like, no, I think this person did it because of this evidence, and this evidence. It was like, nah, it was these two people because they were all, they switching locations left and right, and this, that, and the third. And that's where the fun is at, right? And I think, and so to go back to the comment, that was it kind of it got the heart pumping a little bit. I was like, oh man, I'm really about to argue. I got to stand on my words now. So it's when you're starting YouTube and you're putting content out, if anybody who watches it is as new as us, or newer, or looking to start, um, put out content that you are serious about, or put out content with intent, because there are going to be people that's going to challenge you, and they may not be as nice as this person who challenged
Oh
me
no.
on apps and board games, right? There's going to be some of those people that might come out and be like, "No, you're definitely wrong. This is ridiculous." Blah blah blah, and you'll have to deal with that, with the repercussions of their words. So yeah, if there was any advice that I give, make fun with have fun with
Right.
the content that you're producing, and if you're putting it out there, put it out with intent. If there's a message that you're trying to get across, be willing to stand on it, but also have a mind that can be malleable as well, to where if somebody bring up a point that definitely trumps your point, be willing to take that, because it's, we're all the board gaming community, for the most part, is understanding. And I think that there's a lot of people that's in a space that's willing to listen to what you have to say and also give their opinions, because the people who, if you all can see behind Mr. Raw right now, like, there's a ton of games that's out there. So they this is what a true board gamer looks like, so to speak, man. We got a ton of board games out. We got walls of board games. Like, if you're in it, you're in it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that, if you get a comment from somebody about these things, it's probably not going to be somebody that's casual. It's going to be somebody that's been here for years. I've only been in board gaming, like this level of board gaming, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. So, and there's still plenty that I got to learn, but I don't know what you have to say about that. But I think that in the sense of putting out content with intent, I won't say always be at arms ready to defend everything, because I don't think that people wake up looking to argue about anything in board gaming, as much as, put it out with the intent of, trying to inform or try to connect with people, because I think that's where a lot of the success of channels come through.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, wow, fantastic words. I feel like I'm listening like in and on a master class right now of starting up YouTube right now.
The
Those are
honor.
those are fantastic. No, I couldn't have eloquently said it better myself. Um, yeah, have that, and just know. I think just know that you're not going to appeal to everybody, and it's very
Right.
brave of us to be able to put things out there, out into the world where we know. I did a rant with another fellow Canadian YouTuber, Jason from Dice and Dragons, and we did a rant about the
Mm.
keyboard warriors that are out there, and just to how to, like, approach them, because they are out there. And as long as we can have like that civil discourse and just kind of like bring it around and have the open mind, because like you said, thousands upon thousands of games are released a year, and they are
Facts.
not going to hit with everybody.
Facts.
Yeah, they're not going to hit with everybody. And yeah, what I consider is my favorite game is not going to be everybody else's favorite game, and that's just a fact. It's never going to be like that. Like one of my favorite games, my favorite game of all time, Arkham Horror, the card game. Arkham Horror,
Ooh,
the
let's
card game,
go. Okay.
favorite game of all time. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of issues with it.
Team Guardian.
Yeah, Team Garden. I'm Mystic. I'm Team
Oh, let's
Mystic,
go.
and but I've actually started sprinkling in some Rogue. I actually really started enjoying
Ooh.
the Rogue classes,
Ooh.
because Edge of the Earth released a really good Rogue character, Monterey Jack, which is a fantastic cheese as well, and that is how I think that's even what I name my deck. I think it's not easy being cheesy,
Yo, I respect that, man. Rhymes
but
make me happy.
but that game's not for everybody. I know that game is frustrating at the best of times.
I have to play with you, man, because I think that core box is hard. Like, it's not Lord of the Rings LCG hard, but it's still tough. And I don't feel comfortable without having my man rolling on the table. Like, that 45 he got, like that saved me so many times. I was like, I don't know how to play this game without blasting through enemies. And I'm a simple man. You throw some enemies on the table, then I can throw some dynamite over there. Like it's for me. Man, that game is tough, but I love the how they do the storytelling for it. I think it's genius, man. Like I think um it's cool how the game almost builds out to a board game, and I think that's on top of the storytelling. Oh man, it's a beautiful game. So I support you there. My favorite game is Marvel Champions,
Yep.
but I think that if I played Arkham Horror more, it might take over Marvel Champions, and that's a lot coming from me,
Hmm.
knowing how much I got everything Marvel Champions right now. But I think if I like legit sat down and tried to learn that game and just play through it, it might overtake Marvel Champions for me.
Yeah. Marvel Champions has cracked my top 20 games of all time. Like I
Let's
really,
go.
really, really enjoy it like all the time. Like I'm the avid collector. I've got everything. I've got everything in a big, massive storage box that's behind me somewhere on the floor.
Let's go.
And yeah,
Let's go.
but I love it. I love it as a pure card game of just like, hey, taking on the big bad, whipping down cards, fighting, dealing damage, doing all those things. Oh, but then like Arkham, it has that extra ladder. It is the board game. It is a board game now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oh yeah, the LCGs. I got the LCG bug bad. I got the LCG, and I want to do lots of more playthroughs of them. But I have now. Here's another thing. If you're a YouTuber, you need to have some space if you want to do playthroughs.
Facts. Facts. This little table I got, man, because I hate playing Marvel Champions solo, but that's the way that I'll have to play because of the size of the table that I have. Because you can see over my shoulder right now. I normally like look through board games on my bed. That's This War Is Mine right behind me. Just checking it out before this, but yeah, man, I think I can figure it out to where I can play some villains. I guess certain ones on this table until I can get myself a bigger table to do more playthroughs. But yeah, because I would love to play Arkham Horror across the camera, but I would have to have somebody host it and
Oh
then I
yes,
just be a part of the game because it's
yeah,
oh man, it'd be atrocious.
yeah. Because even here, like I was talking to you beforehand, it's my wife's workspace that I'm invading on a night by night basis. I have to take down all of her stuff and set up all my stuff before I can actually do it. And I'm also very limited. That's why I've covered the games that I've covered on my channel, because I know that they fit in this area. Anything that's bigger, I cannot physically cover in this. So I'm not going to be able to cover everything. Arc Nova, forget about it. It ain't getting covered on this channel because it is too physically big for this table. Unless if I took everything.
I'll talk about it, man.
Yeah. Unless if I take the studio and go up to the kitchen, but then in the kitchen there's weird lighting coming everywhere. The acoustics are bad. The kids are running around.
That's fair, man. That's fair. But I suppose you wouldn't be the first one to have kids in the video, so you know.
Right. Dad, what's this? And the super soakers are coming in and
Hey, you might mess around and be the most popular person after that, man.
Right. And then this how-to video is now to how to deal with your kids around the board game.
Oh, you would definitely be popular, man, because I'm sure parents are still trying to figure that part out.
There we go. I think I found a future rant video about gaming.
There you go.
Trying to fit in gaming with the running kids. Oh.
Hey, man, I just got a couple of words for you. Free of charge.
Nice.
Well, I guess not to get too off topic, but I do have a question for you because
sure.
I've been finding myself trying not to do this, but comparing to other channels that started around you. So one of the communities that I got myself into is the living card gamer community. So shout out to Nelson over there and Jason at D20 Woodworking. But they have a Discord channel, and I started around the same time as this other guy, Josh Walton, he's a funny dude, man. If y'all are watching this and haven't checked him out, go check out Josh over at Get Up and Game. He covers a lot of Marvel Champions, but his channel took off way faster than mine. And I was trying not to compare myself, where it's like, man, he must be doing something right compared to me. But I also have to remember, like, I'm only a few months in, and I won't discount anything that he has done because I think he's doing an amazing job. But I look back at myself as like, man, am I doing something wrong? Like, is my background not, spruced up enough? Am I rambling too much? Am I not putting out good content? But I also have to remember that I'm 3 months in.
Right.
Like, I don't have 100 subscribers, but that's okay.
Right.
I'm at 79 ish, somewhere around there. My highest video have only done 300 and something views, but I saw him, he just reached over 1,000 views on one video. He's over 100 subscribers and rising. I was just like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? But have you ever had those thoughts in watching somebody that maybe have started before you or around the time you did and seeing them take off?
I think it's easy to fall into right at the very beginning. That it's that what we'll call is like probably the first 10 video hump type thing. You put in the hours to make the video, you edit it down, you put it out into the world, and it got like 10 views. And for some people that would be very deflating. Like, oh, I put in all this effort, I put in all this work. I think it's just human nature just to kind of compare yourself. Like, I thought I did a really, really good job and I didn't get the affirmation afterwards. And that's human nature. And it's very hard, but I think it all depends on what your personality is, I guess. If you are kind of like a more humble and down to earth, like for me, any success that I get, like, I celebrate it. Like, and those first videos, like, I had no idea where they were going to go. That very first video now, it has over 800 views on it. And like, I look at that and I'm just like, how? It was just a guy with an iPhone and a camera and just spewing words about this unnecessary product that, in my mind, it was an unnecessary product, and 800 people wanted to watch that. Like, I can't fathom that. If that video got 10 views, I was like, cool, there's 10 people out there that think the way that I do.
Right.
So I think it's an easy trap to fall into. And I hear, like, I have some other friends in the hobby here too, and in the content creation case, and we all go through this. I think we all go through this lull. Everybody like, I've been at this for a year and I've only got like 300 subscribers, and that other channel has been doing it for a year. They've got 10,000 subscribers. I don't know what the YouTube algorithm. I always say it's the YouTube algorithm. I didn't fall into the algorithm, and that's okay. I don't want a machine to tell people to like me. I want people to discover me. I want people to discover me and say, hey, that guy's all right. I don't want a machine to tell you, hey, check out this guy. I don't want no Skynet stuff happening here.
I like it.
I have no idea if those words were helpful to anybody.
No, because I think it is important, right? Because just as you said, like, people have those feelings, right? Like, I have them, and that's for me. Because I don't feel like what I've done has been a waste of time, and that's what I hope that those who are going through those emotions and going through those issues of, I guess, self-worth, that they don't feel like it's a waste of time, right? Because I had to look at 3 months ago where I was at mentally and where I'm at now, right? Like, that was the goal of it all, was to rekindle that flame for board games, and it's here now, right? And that doesn't mean that I can't, continue shifting what that goal looks like now,
right?
But I have, like you say, with those victories, the fact that freaking Rodney from Watch It Played retweeted 2 of my videos, right? Like, that's that's crazy, you know. And even though I got some foot traffic from it, it wasn't a crazy amount, but it's like, all right, we got some heavy hitters that know who I am, right? Like maybe I should start taking this a little bit more serious, you know. And that's where, you know, reaching out to people for logos. I'm like, all right, maybe I need to put a logo on my channel, you know, have my logo on my Twitter account, you know, start making the channel more or seem more official than, you know, what I think it is, you know. But I don't know what that looked like, because that wasn't the goal, was to become this, you know. And not saying I'm a major YouTuber, but you know, now that some eyes are focusing on the channel at this point, it's like, all right, what you going to do with that?
Mm,
And I didn't expect it to get this far, but now that I'm here, all right, you know, are you going to stop making videos, or are you going to keep going?
mm.
And you know, I just dropped a video recently that's like, all right, I guess we're gonna make this thing happen. Let's do it. And I think that, uh, you know, even though I'm not quite growing the way that I thought that I would, but I know that I'm starting to see what it takes to start growing the channel,
Mm.
because I know that there's not a lot of money in this,
No.
right? Like there's not a lot of people that have over 100,000 subscribers in this board gaming realm, right? Because I think if you look at Dice Tower, which is probably the biggest,
Right.
I don't know what you would call it, entity in the YouTube
I was
space.
actually just thinking the word entity.
Oh,
That's
look at
exactly
that.
what
Great
they
minds
were.
think alike, man. That's that Packers vision.
Ah,
Um, they are sitting at roughly 400,000 subscribers, somewhere around there. And if you compare that to like video game YouTube, like that's
oh,
not like you somebody in the space, but you ain't somebody in that space, right? But for board gaming, like that's, if that's the highest that it is, then it's like, you know what? I'm sitting with 79 subscribers. Like that's 79 people that were willing to click that button for me that I didn't have 3 months ago,
right.
right? That felt like I was worth being in their subscription feed, right? And that's where, to go back to what you were saying about those small victories, like I have to take those and keep building off of that. You know, I don't know what success looks like for my channel. And to be wholeheartedly honest with you, I don't know what my projection is right now.
Mm,
I don't know what I'm looking to succeed in, but what I do know, what I want to do, is to continue meeting people and continue with having discussions around board gaming, because it's, now that we're starting to get deluxe versions of games, you know, I think that that's a good sign, you know, that we're starting to get some money in the space for board gaming. And now there's going to be more things that will challenge the board gaming space, and we're going to come across some challenges that have already been settled in other spaces,
mm.
but that's completely new to this, and we're trying to figure out what that looks like for board gaming, right? Because it's normally a family or friend centric thing,
Yeah.
that is now solo gaming has come into play. We got people with blinged out pieces, and we got $600 Marvel Zombies games, right? So, you know, now that we're having these new things that are seeping into the culture, what are we going to do about it? How do we
Right.
still keep the essence of what brought us into board gaming while adjusting to the changes around it, right? And I feel like that's where the channel for me is starting to fit in. You know, like
Right.
now that I have an understanding of, to an extent, what I want to do with the channel, which is just talk about Marvel Champions or some of the happenings in board gaming. Like, how do I make that more appealing and better for people that are watching it? Because I want to make sure that I'm presenting good information to people, but that I'm also not wasting their time. And I think that's where, you know, how seriously you want to take YouTube come into play. You know, do I want to keep creating something that's worth the time, and do I want to create something that's aesthetically pleasing behind me in the background, or
Right.
you know, upgrade the mic that I have, or you know, whatever that looks like, maybe get a bigger desk so I can play bigger games.
Right.
So it's an interesting space to be in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people will try to fall into the trap that you always have to cover what the hottest thing is.
Yeah.
They don't fall into the trap. And that's where like a lot of my reviews, they aren't really the hot. They're not really the hot things that are out there right now. Talk about the games that you've been playing. Talk about the games that you really enjoy. They may not. They may
Yeah.
be 5 years old. That's okay, because that might be, you might reach to somebody that game has never been on their radar. It's 5 years old. That's like 100 years in human years. So there's somebody out there that might not even know that game existed, and talk about
Right.
it. Yeah, you gotta put in the trial. You gotta put in the trial runs, I think.
Yeah, man, and that's because I still plan on doing a video on, man, I promote this game every chance I get. But Dead Men Tell No Tales. I know people are probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but you know what? I'm gonna keep talking about it until I start seeing it on people's shelves.
Mm,
Because I think that it's a cool game. And it's I think that's a really good point that you just made in terms of making content around what you play, because that's what brings you the joy in the space, what the hobby. And I think that, you know, people would love, if you're talking about something that you're passionate about, people feed off that passion, right? I know nothing about hockey, so I'm not about to talk about hockey because I don't know anything about it. But I can sit here and flap my gums about basketball and boxing and football all day long, and people will draw from that energy because they know it's coming from a place that I love it, and that I have something to say about it. So I like that you brought up that point about talking about what you know. And sometimes I'll talk about a game that I had an interesting experience with, because I thought about doing a video with about Twilight Imperium, which
mm,
I'm not the biggest fan of war games, even though that one, man, it's kind of tough to say that it's a war game because there's not a lot of
mm.
combat in it up until those last few rounds when
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I need to,
and it
we need
all
to get this dude
depends.
off of
And it all
Mechatol Rex, man. He
depends on
gotta
the.
go.
Yeah, it all depends on the people that you're playing with too.
Yeah.
if
Oh
if
man.
they
And
if they
I
want to chuck the dice, if they want to chuck the dice and throw fists, yeah, it's gonna be a heavy combat game. But if you play with
yes,
a whole bunch of
sir.
people that are like, combat scares me, I'm just gonna turtle, and we're gonna have like 6 people that just turtle all game.
Yeah, man.
It could
Because
be
it's
that.
it's an interesting mix of people that I have that I play with. Because I'm more of the pacifist, because I don't understand all the races, so I don't know when I actually have an advantage from a
No.
combat standpoint. So I try to get all the secret objectives that I can, and will and deal some victory points. I almost won that way one time, but I thought about doing a video on that because I don't typically like war games, because some people take the war games personal.
Mm,
Like, I'm not attacking you because I hate you. I'm attacking you because you in a far weaker position than me, and I kind of need that resource over there, sir, and you in the way. But
yeah.
it's not something I thoroughly enjoyed. But the last Twilight Imperium game I had, that was the most fun I've had with that game ever. And I was like, man, maybe we talk a lot about games that we don't appreciate, and sometimes maybe you just haven't played it right, played it with the right group, or played the right game in that genre. And I think that that's an important thing, because you can miss out on so many good games because you had one bad experience on one
Right.
bad game, and now you don't care for it. So I thought about making a video on that, but yeah, man, there's just so much to cover in this space because there's always something new happening, whether if it's deluxe games or um, some of the content that some of these board games are coming out with, the prices.
Mm,
There's so
mm,
much to talk about,
so
but
much.
in terms of like some of these newer or future topics, but kind of like what you said with some of those games that maybe 5 6 years ago that some people kind of overshadowed, or there's just been this influx of people coming into the hobby as of late that may not have experienced something 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Like, if you like Twilight Imperium, cool, go try Cosmic Encounters, which is
Right.
almost as old as my dad, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, maybe they'll enjoy that. So you know, if there's anything I walk away from this show today, you know, I'll start making more content around those games that I love, and there's a few of those games that I have that some people really hate. Looking at First Martians about Portal Games, you know, like that's it's one of those. Maybe I'll try to make a case for that one. You know, maybe that one will be like my 10 view video, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Because I hadn't played it, and I think I fell into the trap of I consumed the media and said no, don't waste your money. I think I probably fell into the trap. But I remember everybody talking about it was. I think it was the first edition rule book. I think that was what really, really. But then they fixed it. But then I just actually never came back to it. But
that's fair, man.
Yeah.
Do you like Robinson Crusoe?
That is a game that I have not played. That my counterparts, Ian and Norm, have been trying to get me to play, and we've been trying to get a game together for a while now. That I need to play. They said it's a game that you need to play because Ryan, you're going to enjoy it.
It's fun. Like I only played it solo, because the first game I realized I was doing so much wrong, but because I was like, man, this might be too easy, and sure enough, it was because I was definitely playing it wrong because that game is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard, but it's for me. I like the dice rolling in it. It's so much fun, man. But it feels like you get hurt by everything. But I think that um, it is luck based, so you're probably going to lose more than you win. But I like that challenge of, you know, whenever you go in with a strategy and the luck happen to roll your way. Well, yeah, actually, you know what this is like. Arkham Horror.
Oh yeah.
You can have all the strategy in the world and pull that chaos token 50 times.
Every time. There's only one of them in the bag, and then every time.
Yeah, man. That -6 roll out, and it's like, bro, what you doing? I'm trying to win. So that's Robinson Crusoe in a nutshell right there. You got all the ducks rolled up, and somehow a dinosaur come out of nowhere. Well, that's not actually in the game, but that's how it feels. Like it's just ridiculous sometimes. But yeah, that's Arkham Horror, right? Where you got the right strategy. You done cleared off all of these monsters. You about to go in that room and -6. So so that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, I think you'd enjoy that, man. It's got that Arkham Horror-ish luck to it, or lack thereof.
Yeah, I do need to try it. I have to. Okay, I've said enough times. I have to.
There you go, man.
Cool.
I'll be happy to mail it to you, bro. I'm that confident.
Man, I know there's multiple copies in our community that I just need to find a night or an afternoon just to sit down with them and say, Kate, pull it out, set it up. Let's do it. I need to.
Yeah, cool. Man. And the problem, man, Kickstarter, bro. Like, I'm starting to get some of those games rolling in, and I'm just like, man, I've already bought this game and this game I need to try, because it's getting to the point now where I'm having more games I haven't tried than what I've actually played on my shelf. So I'm trying to stall it out now. So yeah, you know, I'll be playing So You've Been Eaten and This War Is Mine soon. I still got to finish 7th Continent because I just popped that open, and that was a fun and interesting experience. So, yeah, man, maybe I'll make some videos around those once I finish them, or play it enough to where I understand what's going on to be able to make a video out of it. But I think that's the beauty of to come back to video, YouTube content creation. Like, that's the beauty of the space, is that you can, if there's already not a community that's there, you can create it yourself just by talking about what you have, right? Because there's some people that, you know, when those big names drop in board gaming and they don't get around to it, but you got the opportunity to get around to it and to talk about it, you know, you may be the one that kind of pushed them towards being able to make that decision to get it, right? Like just like me talking to you right now about Robinson Crusoe, right? Like that's another one of those games that's been out for years, you know, and is one of Portal games is staple games, and you sometimes you just don't get around to it, and that's okay. We only got so much time that we can dedicate to games, and some of these games just take so much time to learn and
Oh, yeah.
to play. Yeah, like it's an investment of time. The game can be an hour long, but it might be a 2 or 3 hour session of you just learning the game and playing it, you know, recovering from mistakes. It's an investment in learning it. So yeah, man, I just wish there was more time in the day sometimes to
Oh,
go
right.
through and play more games, but life happens and we got to get some stuff done.
Right. And some people fall into that. Like, and they're get that. That's the,
Yeah.
I got to cover the new hotness. But where are you going to have the time? So just play what you enjoy. If you have time to make the video, like there was a week there the other week, I just, okay, I fell into like, oh yeah, I'm already releasing a video, like, Wednesday and maybe a Sunday, sometimes a Friday. And then there's a week like, no, I only released one video. And that's fine. That was fine by me, because I was like, nope, I'm not burning the candle at both ends here.
Right.
And plus, I've got a job. We've got jobs that are
Yeah, man.
not board gaming related. Like, I'm a teacher, so I've got marking up the wazoo and the best of times. Lesson planning. Like, there's not enough time in a day to do everything that I want. Plus, I got kids, and they got
Right.
they got their activities that are not board gaming.
You
So,
haven't even talked about YouTube yet.
no, haven't talked about YouTube. YouTube happens after the kids go to
Yeah.
bed. My wife and I have a little sit down together time. And she off to bed, and then I was like, okay, what time is it? 9:30, 10 o'clock. Okay, let's get 15 minutes in. Let's do it.
Right.
That's why most of my
Right.
videos are short little segments. Those segments took probably about like 4 or 5 evenings.
Jeez.
and
Jeez.
and it's just like, squeeze it in when I can, and then, okay, I have enough. Let's put it all together into a video and let's pump it out.
I got to learn editing, man. Like that's one of the things, man. If I can't one shot the video, I don't do it.
Oh
So
yeah.
I gotta figure out how to start editing. But I'm confident in what I have to say, so I just click record and just start going at it. But I don't have a intro or outro to be able to tack on to those videos. So once I start the video and start talking, I get to the end of my point and then move on from there. So that I think that's the if there's anything I got going for me, it's the fact that I got some topics I can talk about and I can just sit and yap my gums. I mean, y'all have heard me so far on this video so far, man. You give me a topic and I just start going, and I think that if anything, that works in my favor on at least putting out content when I can. But at the same time, I think, um, yeah, I'll eventually have to up my skills with editing and figure out how to, bring in more of an entertainment aspect into everything, and just being able to entertain alongside informing. And but in the meantime, I got enough topics to where at least I can, be a part of that Skynet algorithm, to be able to put some stuff out and, just keep connecting with people, man. It's been so fun connecting with people on Twitter and within these Discord groups, and um, yeah, man, just being able to meet new people. So hopefully next year, because I probably won't be able to make any of the big conferences this year, but hopefully next year, man, I'll be able to go to some conferences and meet more people there, or see some people I already know that I haven't been able to meet them in person. So, yeah, man, YouTube content. If you watch this and you're debating it, man, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Send those videos my way. I'll watch them and do what I can to help and go from there. Because I think that there is something worth there is something to putting yourself out into the universe and drawing in people that is like-minded to you and finding your tribe. I think that's so important, especially in board gaming, where it may be tough to find people that play those heavier games that you play, but maybe that person is hours away from you, but at least being able to talk to somebody about something that you love is important. That's how this culture continues to grow. This is how we function. A lot of the content creation is from us on this side. With man, we are practically the promoters for a lot of these board gaming companies, and I think that they're okay with that. That is we're active with the content that they produce. Therefore, we produce content on their content, right? So I think that that's a important equation that some of us forget and overlook. So that's my two cents on that.
And what an amazing 2 cents. Like I just sit back, like I'm just sitting back and I'm just enjoying just the conversation, folks. We're taking like if you offered a master class in just in just being like I don't like everything you're saying. I 100% wholly agree with your personality. I think you're already 80 to 85% there because you've got the personality and you've got
Thank
the
you. I
way to
appreciate that.
you've got the way to talk about things. And like when you say I like I'm kind of like you. We kind of just ramble at times, and that's all right because everything sounds so genuine.
Thank
That's
you.
one I think, and those are the contents that I kind of gravitate towards. The genuine conversations that happen, and like I have enjoyed many of your videos that I was able to watch
Thank you.
over the past little while because man, you just bring up you ask interesting questions, and
Thank you.
we don't get that a lot, and I like the interesting questions, the things that make us kind of like step back and say, got to think about that in a different way, like your topic about what this box of Marvel Champions could look like if you had like the Punisher and Daredevil
Oh,
thing. Like
th-
that was a great conversation.
thank you. I appreciate that.
So,
Like that's oh man, because I know that you mentioned 15 minutes, and I know that we way past that,
oh
and so
gosh.
I'll try to keep this part short because man, I love Daredevil and Punisher so much, man. Like i- if that box came out, even if it's not even of the same idea that I had, if I just get a Daredevil and a Punisher hero set, I'm good with Marvel Champions. I don't have to buy any other Marvel Champions because those are two of my favorite heroes of all time. Um, but I pitched that because I don't know how much Marvel Champions you actually play, but I think that that's where their weaker point right now. If there's a weakness that I had to point out for that game, I think it's the campaign. I don't think it's terrible, but in the
Mm.
sense of a campaign, you normally want some story that makes sense in what you're doing, right? But there hasn't been anything from any of those boxes that made me truly felt like I was a part of a storyline, right? And that's it's unfortunate because we know Fantasy Flight is capable of that. With Arkham Horror, we see what they've been able to do with that. Or I'd even
Mm.
argue Lord of the Rings, and I don't even care that much for Lord of the Rings, but I think that it's important, if you're going to keep having these campaign boxes, provide a story that we would, where our choices matter, or there's some consequences, to those actions. And yeah, I love to see it, but I ain't gonna talk too much more
Yeah,
about
right.
it, but yeah, I want to see more of those conversations being had, and I think that they're out there. Because you even uh because one of my favorite people that I looked up to is Jason at Chef Stories, because I think
Mm.
that he presents a lot of really good questions or bring to light certain things, right? And his is extremely controversial, but I think that the regardless of how controversial it is, he brings good conversation to it. And I'm like, man, if I can reach half of that, I made it. If I can reach half of that, man, I'm a happy dude. I just want to be able to talk about the board game space, and it's been fun so far.
Perfect.
And to kind of talk about one of the earlier questions I asked you about, comparing. I think that um, I just have to look at what I'm doing and seeing, looking at the people that I met on Twitter so far, the amount of people I've connected with. Man, it's just been amazing so far, man. So, I may not be progressing as fast as other people around me. That's okay. Like I'm learning to understand, not to compare, and to just, you know, not lose myself in, if anything, with the content that I make, because there are some people that really enjoy the content I make, and even if it's not getting the outreach that I thought it would, the people that it is reaching out to, they're enjoying it, and I can see it in the comments. And for everybody, if you're watching this and have seen my videos and have commented, I appreciate you for doing that, because it helps continue that conversation for me, and it kind of keeps me going. So I appreciate that.
Cool. Well, Maurice, this has been an amazing conversation. And I know we blew way past the 15 to 20 minutes that we had. But I really hope that everybody has stuck around long enough to hear all of this conversation, because, man, this is exactly what I love about this hobby, is when
Yes,
a
sir.
couple people can get together and just have a conversation about gamings and the things they like. That video that I just released just earlier, the Castles of Burgundy playthrough with, and I was joined by a few other individuals,
Oh, that was fun.
and oh, thank you. And like, Castles of Burgundy does not take 2.5 hours to play. I'm putting that out there to people. But our video ended up being 2.5 hours because of the conversation that we were having, which was
Oh, it's beautiful.
it was so fun. There's a lot of funny moments. There's some serious moments. It was like the perfect, like, high school drama. that we got into it, that frame. And then there was just a game happening in the background that if you pay attention to the
Right.
game, you could, if you wanted to. But the conversation
Yeah,
that we had in that video was amazing. And so
I
much
agree.
fun. And I didn't even realize that when we ended the video, I was like, oh crud, that was like 2.5 hours long. The time sunk away. And that's how we can feel like some of our videos. Some of our videos could be like 10 minutes long. Some of our videos could be, well, we're currently sitting at 50.
Right.
So,
Right.
ah,
That's crazy.
thank you very much for coming on tonight. This was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Oh man, thank you for having me, man. It was just another opportunity for me to flap my gums. So,
Right?
I appreciate that, man.
Okay. How about we just remind, if everybody's made it this far, where can they find you? I'll put all of your information in the description of this video so they can find it and everything. But
Oh, sweet.
uh, pump up, I have, you can't see this, but on my screen I have your Twitter handle above your name, so that
Oh, sweet.
if people want to follow you on Twitter, they can find you there. But how can they find you on YouTube?
Yeah, it's just Maurice Andrews. I realized that there were a ton of other Maurice Andrews, so I may have to figure out how to change that. But there's, I think mine have the most uh, videos, or the most viewed videos. I'll have a logo coming up pretty soon. I say within, a few weeks, so it'll be
Oh,
a lot easier to identify me. And if you find me on Twitter, is at M_Andrews Jr. Just try to keep it simple with my name. Yeah, reach out to me if you got something that you'd like for me to talk about. I'll be more than happy to oblige, especially if it's something that I know and I'm familiar with. And if it's something that I'm not familiar with, I'll make the effort to learn more about it
mm,
and speak on it. And yeah, if you come across something, if you agree or disagree with me on a video, be more than happy to drop a comment down. If there's something you disagree with me on this video, I'll check back periodically and see if anybody has something to say about what I had to say, and I'll be more than happy to comment on it. I'm not I'm not opposed to being confrontational, but if it comes down to it, it is what it is. But I'll do it cordially, whether if you agree or disagree with me. I think
cool.
that what's important is that the conversation is being had.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. It has truly been my honor to have such a quality caliber guest come on
Oh,
here.
the
And
honor, man. Trying to make me
oh,
blush.
well, I gotta try. I gotta try. And many people will not know this, but before this, I found out that Maurice and I found out that we were both Green Bay Packer fans. And so,
Let's go.
oh my goodness gracious. This year's our year, folks. AR-12 going to bring home the championship.
Yes, sir. Go down that hill.
Perfect. And now I have another person. I got another person that is, when the NFL season starts up, I got another person that I can reach out to and vent to on those.
Let's go.
On those plays and whatnot. So awesome, possum people. I've been Mr. Rao from Mr. Rao's Gaming Rants and Reviews. Please, if you've enjoyed these videos, subscribe. What's the other thing? Oh, hit the notification bell. I always forget that one. The notification bell to remind you that videos have come out. And of course, I want to hear about what everybody else is thinking. Please go follow and subscribe to Maurice's channel here. It is genuine conversation that I promise you will not be disappointed. I'll just leave it at that. So I think we'll just bring this conversation to an official close. Let's just say goodnight to everybody, Maurice.
Indeed.
Good night, everybody.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Perfect.
Have a good night.
Peace.